Hi, it's Danielle. Module 3, we are on day 3. Sorry, day 3 here. Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about negative Nellies, how to deal with negative people. They're out there. Some of them live in our own homes, and some days we are guilty ourselves about being negative Nellies. But as you know, in this job, our job is to share and inspire and motivate people. Everyone has bad days. You don't have to be perfect all the time. But it's hard to deal with if you don't have people in your life who are on the same journey as you or who understand what you're doing to help others, inspire others, and to change your own life. Okay, you're going to run across a lot of people who think you're selling and that you're not helping people. Okay, and this is just wrong. And some days it digs a little bit deeper than others and it's hard to shake off. And some days we can stand really strong and in our intentions and we can brush it off more easily. Okay, so on those days, I just want you to focus on how much what you do and what your coach has done for you before you became a coach, how much that has impacted you. How much, or if you haven't, if this is your first exposure to Beachbody programs and products, how much living a healthy lifestyle and being an active person has helped you, okay, in every way. And this is basically just this is what you want to help others feel and do in their lives. So know that that is really special and really important. And try not to let negative people deter you from what your goals are. You have to be stronger. Remember the saying, misery loves company, okay? So I want to share with you this little video by Shailene Johnson, as we know, the creator of Turbo Fire, Turbo Jam, Shailene Extreme, and the new Pio. And she talks to you a little bit about her strategies, about how she likes to deal with negative Nellies. Now, after you watch the video, I would love for you to give us some feedback in the comments section about maybe some experiences that you've had and how you've handled them. And if you have, you're going through a hard time right now with some negative people in your life, share that with us and maybe we can help you, give you some advice and a way to get past that. So I hope you guys have a great day 3. Talk soon.
I joked about running into a Debbie Downer, and you know the type of person I'm talking of. I'm speaking about those individuals who a dark cloud just follows them everywhere. They suck the life out of you. Negative people who, no matter what's happening, no matter what you're talking about, they find a way to turn the conversation back to everything that's going wrong in their lives and how kind of the world has conspired against them. And you have people like that in your life. I got so many emails and comments and Facebooks and Twitter messages from people saying, what do you do with those kind of people when they're in your life, when you've got friends who are Debbie Downers and you really like them most of the time, but they can also spiral into being this really negative vampire of your energy, and how do you deal with that? Or maybe some of you who wrote to me about someone you work with who's one of these individuals and how to deal with it. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. How do you deal with people who are very negative and you're a positive person? Well, for one thing, I have noticed myself that I sometimes am attracted initially to negative people because I get a rush out of changing a person's perspective and helping them learn what I've learned, which is, how to attract positive things into my life and how to have a really incredibly positive outlook by protecting the way that I think, like not having blinders on, but really learning to look at the good in every situation, even when it's a situation where people would think, oh, this is awful, I can't believe this just happened. I always try to find the positive in it. I tend to initially be attracted to someone they have other qualities that I like they're really funny, or they're ambitious, or they've got incredible parenting skills, or whatever. but they have this like little negative side, because I guess I see that as a project. But, and a lot of positive people do this. In fact, some of the most positive people I know have married Debbie Downers, because it's a challenge, and positive people love a challenge. But if you've got someone in your life who's just sucking the life out of you, and you have tried repeatedly to help turn them around, there comes a point where it's no longer fair to you, and that person just doesn't want to help themselves. I remember as a kid taking swimming lessons with my sister, and one of the first things that we learned, I remember, was that if you see someone who's drowning and flailing and, you know, going up and down, the worst thing that you can do is what? To jump in the water after them and try to save them, because then you're both going down. And sometimes the same is true of people who are just in a really negative way. You can, you know, throw them a lifeline, you can reach out and try to offer your hand, but if you jump in with them, you're both going to drown. So there comes a point at which you have to protect your own life, and by life I mean your mental well-being, by distancing yourself from that person who just isn't ready to change. When a negative person is around a positive person, you spend the whole conversation focused on them. They say, well, my kids are just, they're misbehaving and blah, blah, blah. And so then the positive person steps in, and the conversation becomes all about them and their problems and how they can try to help solve them. So there's definitely a payoff for a negative person to remain negative. They get all this attention. The conversation is always focused around them. So what do you do with a negative person? You can try to redirect them. One thing that I always do is I share everything that I've learned. I share the power of positive thinking. I share how whatever it is you're thinking about is kind of the energy that you put out to the world, you know, laws of attraction or whatever you want to call it, the secret. I mean, it's something that isn't new. We've been talking about it for hundreds of years, but I think there's something to that. Think about when you have a really bad day and you're thinking to yourself, I shouldn't even got out of bed today. Just one bad thing after another happens. And on the flip side, when things are going really well and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm really on a roll, it's just like, you know, a great email comes in, then you get a great phone call, and then all these positive things start to happen for you. I try to impart whatever wisdom I've learned from the books that I've read or the CDs that I listen to, and I just try to share the knowledge that has helped to change my life. And a lot of times that makes a difference, but you've got to recognize that there's a point at which you're harming yourself, and that there's somebody else out there who could benefit from you trying to help them see a positive way of viewing the world. And then there are those people who I just think they have to learn by having failure or someone pointing out to them, listen, the world isn't conspiring against you. This is what you're attracting to you. If you're having failure repeatedly in your relationships, it's not that the world doesn't want you to be in love and the world doesn't want you to feel happiness. That's what you're putting out there. That's what you're attracting to yourself. If every job you've ever had ends badly and you can't get along with anyone, that's not bad luck. That's what you're putting out to the world. You're causing that to happen. I get along with everybody. I've always enjoyed the people that I work with because that's what I put out there. I appreciate people. I see the good in them. I never think that they have it out to get me. I always assume the best of people. And you can train your brain to do that, but it does take practice. So what do you do if that negative person is very close to you? It's your best friend, or it's your mom, or it's your spouse. You do your best. You do your best, but you have to understand this. It is not your responsibility to make another person happy. Accept them for who they are. At some point, they will recognize that they can live a much happier, fuller life by being a happier person, but they're not your responsibility, and neither is their happiness. That's up to them.
When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, When you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in rivers, and the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, 'cause